Happy Wednesday, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Pageant Sit Down. I'm your host, Regina, and this is hard for me today because I'm not used to introing this person. Normally, they're introducing me, but we have a very special guest on the show today. A few weeks ago, when Elizabeth was on, we were talking about potentially getting and maybe someone who's already done a male pageant, and I found one, and he is none other than not only the host of the Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown, or an actor, or a film director, or a musician, or whatever his bio is. He is none other than the reigning Mr. Philippines PIDC and my good friend Scott Dion Brown. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome, everybody. Hi.
Hi, stranger.
Welcome.
So you're not a stranger to me, but you may be to some people. So Scott, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Hello. I am Scott Brown. I'm a co-host with Regine on Sunday mornings, the Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown. And we've been doing that show for, has it been 2 years yet?
Yes.
2 years plus. And I'm also an actor. I'm also a singer, songwriter, and also a live streamer since this pandemic started. So over a year of that now, and also a budding filmmaker as well, and just all around entertainment related stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much me. Hello.
Hello. I just noticed you're a little discolored.
Really? Are my camera settings? You know what I find is weird is that whenever. So usually I'm streaming after the sun goes down, and I notice for especially through the winter,
Oh, it's back. You're good.
Okay, it looks proper now.
I don't know what you did, but everything is good.
Oh, that's weird. How is it now?
Good. Scott, why are you bringing all the technical difficulties to this show? It only happens on your show.
I brought them with me, Regine. I brought them along. But
we did.
Yeah, no, what I find is because now that it's starting to get darker later, I find I start my stream and I set my camera settings a certain way, and then over the course of the first 30 minutes, the sun slowly sets and my camera settings go crazy because it's trying to adapt to the changing light. So I think maybe that's what happened. Anyways, it's better now.
All is good in the world. Well, first off, thanks for joining us today. I like to call it a Sit Down remix because for those who don't know or are new to this channel, I'm actually Scott's co-host on the Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown, and that's kind of where the Pageant Sit Down came from. Is it weird not controlling the show, Scott?
Honestly, yeah, a little. It kind of feels weird. Usually I have to I'm clicking every time somebody speaks, so I'm switching the cameras, and then I'm looking over the chat, and so this way now I'm almost sitting here being oh, what do I do?
You just
I don't have to do anything.
You just talk.
So
you do what I do on Sundays and just blab. But so Scott, we created the Sit Down or the Pageant Sit Down from the Sit Down, just focusing on pageantry because there were so many girls who wanted to be interviewed on our show. And something a lot of people learned through the Sit Down with your show is that you've done your own taste of pageantry, from being Mr. Philippines PIDC to emceeing pageants. Why are you so invested in the pageant world?
That's a very good question, Regine. In fact, what's weird is the pageant world has had a pretty big influence on sort of a lot of things that happened in my life, which is weird to think about. But, so I was once upon a time, I can't remember what year now, but mid 2000s, I think. My mom came from work and was like, "Hey, Scott, do you want to be in a pageant?" And I said, "Okay." And I guess it was just somebody at her work had mentioned to her, "Oh, there's a pageant happening. It's the Mr. Philippines PIDC pageant, and they're looking for male candidates. Does Scott want to be in it?" And I had I knew nothing about pageants. I think all I knew about them was, I don't know, whatever people hear. I guess I knew nothing about it. But then I got involved, and I actually had a really good time. And yes, I ended up winning the pageant that year. And then the following year, I've told this story before, but again, for people who don't know, the following year they the PIDC pageant continues. Like there's still Miss and the other categories, but they decided to do away with the Mr. category.
Mhm.
However, the year after I won, the year that I did win, they had me be like an escort for the Miss. So like whenever we would go to events and do our appearances and stuff, we were kind of always, linked arms, walking in parades and waving at people. And I guess they wanted the Miss Philippines to have an escort again the following year. So they made me a new sash with no year in it.
Oh.
And they have still, to this day, never brought back the Mr. Philippines PIDC pageant. So I am the one and only still reigning Mr. Philippines PIDC 2002 forever.
Has there ever been any other Mr. Philippines PIDCs before you, or were you just the one and only?
I don't know. I don't actually that I don't know. I know that there was a walk at the pageant that I was in.
Mhm.
So if there has been one in the past, because I assume that the Miss Philippines PIDC pageant, I assume it's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the Philippine Independence Day Council has been around for a long time. So if at some point in its history they had, or if that year happened to be the first, that I don't know, I'm the wrong person to ask, but it could be that I was the first year and it was like an experiment and they were like,
You're a lab rat.
never mind. Yeah. So I think that, especially in that first year, I think they did struggle to find candidates. In fact, if I remember correctly, when they first brought me on, at first, I think I was the only person who had said yes.
Oh.
So there was a short period where I was just going to win by default. I was just
it was the Scott show, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, I mean, that's cool, right? Even then, I didn't really I'm walking in and so that when I found out that they managed to track down, I think 4 or 5 other candidates, I can't remember how many there were that night,
Mm-hmm.
5 or 6 of us. So they tracked down a whole group of guys. So at least now I feel like I earned it, which was good.
So what was the competition like? Was there swimwear? Was there
so they didn't
suit?
So what did they do? They didn't do swimwear. They did beachwear or no, sportswear. I think it was sportswear. So it was like you could wear beach stuff, but you could also wear anything kind of athletic looking.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I wore track pants and like an Abercrombie golf shirt.
You wore track pants and a golf shirt and won your pageant.
Well, sportswear.
What?
I mean, I rocked those.
That's not
those
sportswear. That's leisure wear.
No,
that's
I mean
2020 wear.
Sweatpants. You wear it when you gotta do some sweating.
Oh my goodness.
Right? People work out in sweatpants. I don't know. I think I wore those, and I don't know if I'm remembering wrong, but I think I wore sunglasses too.
Oh God.
So I had like a whole thing.
So
I had a whole thing going.
So there was
sportswear.
Uh-huh.
There was formal wear, which I wore my suit, and there was talent. Although the talent portion was on a different night. So as I recall, we had to have a meeting at some restaurant somewhere, and I actually performed with my whole band. I had a band come down, a couple songs. So then they had the talent portion, and then on the night they also had a question and answer Q&A, and I think that was everything. That's usually it. I think that was everything.
I've never done a male pageant, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah. But like I'm not missing any like categories that are typically there. I think that's about it.
Did you guys have an opening number?
No, I don't think so. I don't remember learning choreography unless I blacked it out of my mind. But I don't remember doing that. What I do remember is that the pageant ran super long. I think the whole night was like 6 hours. I'm pretty sure it was like a 6-hour pageant. So,
but okay, let's be real. You've emceed many pageants from many organizations. Are you surprised that it was that long?
I'm very surprised. After years later of emceeing, no, I wasn't at all. But that's the thing. How I mentioned off the top, how the pageantry is kind of being in that pageant has this big impact on my life because, so yeah, I went to this pageant and like I said, it was almost on a whim, and but I enjoyed it. It was fun, and then I ended up escorting the following year, going to all these events, and then through those events, it opened up a bunch of opportunities, like live performance opportunities for me to sing in places and perform at large events, and then following years they invited me back to start emceeing, and then I started emceeing every single year pretty much after that. I guess maybe they must not have had a pageant this year, or if they did something different or an online version, maybe they did and I didn't know about it. But anyway, if I didn't,
they haven't.
Okay, so then I'm pretty sure I'm probably still going to be the MC then, assuming they call me for following year. But so then, yeah, so I MC'd for many years after that, and it was through MCing that pageant that I started getting asked to MC other events and other pageants, one of them being Canada's Top Choice. And then, you and I kind of met Jennifer eventually through there and ended up being on the Sit Down. So it's so weird how that little pageant that my mom heard about at her work kind of, ended up all the way to here. It's just this weird thing that I never would have anticipated, but it's interesting. Yeah.
And here we are. How many years later? Well, Elizabeth is here. She says hello. She says, hey guys. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi, Liz.
Speaking of Liz, she has a question for you from Instagram. Oh, and Sarah Edmonds is here. They're all saying hello now. It takes one to say hi, and then everyone trickles through. So if anyone has questions for Scott, whether it be about emceeing, music, acting, filmmaking, modeling, pageantry, leave a comment down below and I will ask him because he has no idea who's in the chats.
I'm actually not looking at the chat. I thought about it, but I realized, because one thing I realized is if I do all the stuff that I normally do if I'm hosting the show, I don't know, I don't want to start, but
it's not your show.
Yeah, I'm the guest. I'm the guest.
Exactly.
I'm just here to
enjoy.
Exactly.
So so going back to the question. So Elizabeth asks, what is something you learned about pageants from interviewing title holders?
That I learned about pageants from interviewing them. I mean, I don't know if this is accurate across the board, largely because I guess most of the pageants that I MC or host are generally more community-based pageants. Some of them are even charity-based sometimes. Like I've never really been involved with like, I don't know, Miss Universe or something. But the thing that I did learn that probably would have been something that I would have thought was a misconception, or what I now would have been a misconception was it's not as competitive between candidates as you might think. Like anybody who's got this idea, I mean, I think we've even talked about this before, but I'm sure you've had other guests have to talk about it as well, kind of have to defend pageantry, but that kind of that image of like, somebody tearing the crown off their head and like sort of that crazy stuff that you think about. It's never been something that I've directly myself encountered. I do find talking with all different candidates, especially on the night, it's much more the atmosphere of like you're putting on a play or you're putting on a show, and all the candidates are kind of backstage. You're kind of just cast members, and you're kind of part of a company, and you're putting this production on, which I liked, and I did find, I mean, obviously, yeah, people want to win, and if somebody wins, they're happy, and if someone loses, they're sad, and that's happening. But I do find that it's very rare that you'll see the competitiveness aimed at each other, especially on the night of. Usually backstage, everyone's helping each other with their hair or making sure their thing is buttoned up, or you know what I mean. So one thing I've learned is that it's quite a fun atmosphere, and it's not nearly as competitive, at least between candidates, as you think.
That you see. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think what it is like, I understand that people take it seriously, but I think what it is, and I can think even myself when I went, I mean, like, yeah, I was doing it for fun, but I was there to win. I'm not going there I don't do anything if I'm not trying to win, right? But I didn't feel the need, like, I didn't look at the other candidates as my competition. I looked at myself as my competition, right? My job is to go out there and do what I can do, and they're doing what they can do, and what they're doing really has no impact on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's possible that they'll do something better than I'm doing, but I can't do anything to them. Like, it's not a sport in the sense that, you know, I need to play better than they did, or like knock them down, or, you know what I mean? It's, you're just doing your best and they're doing their best. And then, you know, so I think that's why I think most cats realize that. And so I think they're more in their own mind about the competition and less about the other competitors.
It's a good thing to call out, because it's true. People do see it. Like, I don't know if you watch Miss Congeniality, but the moment where she like grabs her crown, I'm sure people probably thought that's really what happens. But no, she was just trying to save her life.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that's what makes it. I mean, I guess that's the stuff that people hear about, because it also makes it more like that's
dramatic.
What people could market, or for a movie, or for, you know. But the actual reality is, it's a much more internal type of competition. You're, like I said, you're focusing on your own performance. Like I said, it's not dissimilar from any other event. Like I've competed in, say, singing competitions before, and I've competed in many things. And again, it's the same thing. It's like, yeah, you're aware that there's another band over there doing their thing, but I'm not angry or upset or thinking even at all what they're doing. I've just got my own stuff to worry about.
So you're telling me when we were doing Monkeys in a Barrel, you were not competitive?
No, I was definitely trying to win.
Really? If I could go and recap, grab a clip from one of the episodes.
Well, I mean, if I was competing with you, I would have, like, you know, thrown like a little, like thrown a pen or something.
How
when you
rude.
were doing it. You know?
Y'all heard it here first.
Or like try to like maybe shake the table. Oh no.
See, that's what I would have done too. But I mean, anyways. So Sarah has a question. She says, who is your favorite person to interview besides Regine? Good question, Sarah.
My favorite person to interview. I'm hesitant to choose a favorite, because I want to make sure everybody comes back if I'd like them to come back.
They're not watching.
So I'll just pick my least favorite. No, just kidding. No, I won't. Who's my favorite? I don't. I'm trying to think some of my favorite episodes. It would be hard for me to pick a favorite. I've got moments that I remember. Nina Kiri was really great. I really like interviewing Nina Kiri. Christina Tonterre Young was awesome, just because we had the entire fan base of Warrior Nun in there watching. So that was just having, that was the first live stream, I think, that I guess either of us have been on, where like the chat is just flying, like flying faster. And is the sun setting? Am I really dark? I just noticed. Is my camera really dark?
Yeah, what happened?
It's because the lighting changed. Hang on, I can change it.
The sun went down.
Yeah, hang on. I just looked and I'm like, okay, wait, hang on.
So while Scott figures that out.
There you go. Is that better? That's better, right?
Yes.
Okay. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so Christina Tonterre Young was good, and also she was also an amazing interview. Yeah, we've had a bunch. I mean, the thing is, I don't even really have a favorite. I have highlight moments like that, or like little things that happened in interviews. Like the Nina Kiri one, I remember because so many things went wrong that episode, right? That was the episode that I was interviewing her for 30 minutes. Or I guess we were interviewing her for 30 minutes, and then we realized that we weren't live.
It's to me, it's crazy how Elizabeth and your dad both messaged us at the same time.
Yeah. Is the show
Couldn't you guys message us earlier? Why wait till the 30-minute mark?
Yeah. Well, that's the problem, is that we thought that the show was live because, I mean, well, you guys are watching this now on YouTube, right? There's a chat down the side, but if you were here before the show started, you'll notice that the chat is already active, right? You can, as soon as we create the page, you can start typing in the chat 8 hours before if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And so people had started chatting and saying hello at 11 a.m.
Elizabeth.
Yeah, it was one of them. Yeah. And so we already assumed, okay, that they're here. The show is on. And so we were actually saying hi to them as we saw their comments, thinking that they were saying hi to us as they saw us, but they weren't. They were just sort of logging into the page in anticipation of the show, and then they were just waiting for the show to start. But yeah, so anyway, that one stands out to me because I was so embarrassed that day, because that show was like, because she was, a famous actress, we were were having on the show, I was nervous going into it in the sense that I wanted everything to go perfect. And then when I was sitting there interviewing her and then had to tell her, no, actually, sorry, we've been doing the show for 30 minutes and we're not live. I felt like such a hack. But then because she was such a nice person, she like brought me back and like was trying to lift me up again. Anyway, so that was awesome.
But here's the question. And Elizabeth is on and she just says, LOL, I remember that so well. Elizabeth, why did you wait till the 30-minute mark? That's what I want to know. Yeah. Why did your dad, why did Elizabeth, why did they message us so late? 10 minutes in could have been nice.
My guess is they probably were just, it was probably something like they were, they probably had it on and then maybe they were on their phone and they were doing stuff and they were eating or whatever.
I don't care.
And then they're probably like, wait a
Elizabeth.
minute. It's been a while.
She says, I thought you were just late. No.
Yeah, that's what I figured. They thought it was a delay. That's
a 30-minute delay?
I feel like we've done it before. Not so much anymore. We've pretty much got it down to a science now. But anyway, long-winded answer. You know what? My favorite interview, I don't have one, but my favorites are always the ones that they shoot by. It's like you start the interview and suddenly, oh, it's been 2 hours. You know what I mean? When you can, yeah, when you can fall into that place where it's like, you kind of just, there's a thing that happens in an interview where it's hard to get there and sometimes you never do. But usually if you can get past the point of like when you're kind of asking formal questions and they're giving sort of tentative answers, if you can get past that, when suddenly you realize that the guest is just comfortable and they're just chill and they're just talking to you and then you're talking to them and then there's that kind of moment where you almost forget that you're doing a show.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just chatting. When you can hit that, it's beautiful. And those are my favorite. And there have been lots of them. And then there have been some where it's like you feel like you're pulling teeth to get like an answer.
It's just the two of us talking.
Yeah, that's true. There have been episodes where you and I are talking to each other more than the guest is saying anything. You guys can go back and watch some of our past interviews if you want to see some of those. But generally speaking, yeah, I don't have a favorite interview, but those moments are the best. Those are the best.
Awesome. And Elizabeth says, I'll wait all day for the sit down. So she's trying to cover her butt right now.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Well, actually, if there are anyone here from Scott's stream, because you're normally streaming at this time, say hi. Let us know that you're here. And if you have questions that you've always wanted to ask Scott but never got a chance to, here's your chance.
Here's your chance, guys. Exactly. Yeah, I'm going to stream at 8:35 tonight. So everything's good.
Awesome. Well, another question from Instagram is from Janice, who we've also had on the show, Janice McGregor. She asks, what's a belief about male pageants that you'd like to correct? Do you follow male pageants?
No. No, I don't. So
why
I don't
are you
know
on the show? Go away.
I mean, let me think. You know what? A belief about male pageants I'd like to correct. I don't know. What people believe about male pageants?
Well, what do people believe about women pageants?
I mean, we talked about like, the cattiness, the ripping off of crowns. There was none of that in it. I mean, the thing is, I will say again, the guys that I was competing with in my pageant, everyone was just really, chilled out. I mean, like I said, it was pretty cool backstage. We were hanging out. We were helping each other out. Same idea. Like one guy was wearing like a straw hat, and I remember I think I helped him straighten it or whatever. Like the whole thing was very. Like I said, it's a fun experience. Like I've done live theater before a few times, and it's very similar to that in that you don't feel like you're competing with this person. You're just. Because even beforehand, leading up to it, right, you're rehearsing with these people. You're rehearsing. I don't think we had opening numbers, but we did have to choreograph, like, where you stand. Okay, at the end, everybody comes out and stands like this. When you walk in this formation. At the end, everybody walk. You know what I mean? So you're learning, steps and choreography with these people, and so you kind of bond with them throughout the experience leading up to it. And so because of that, you don't really feel like you're competing against them. You're really just. Okay, all right, here's a big number. Okay, everybody go. Okay, let's walk. Okay, make sure. Okay, I'll stay this distance from him and he'll stay this distance from me, So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's a big difference between the male pageants and the female pageants. I mean, I'm sure there are. Obviously, I mean, the fact that they got rid of the male pageant in the one I was competing in, it seems I don't think they're as popular, but I know that they do exist. I've seen others. I've seen ads for others as well. Considered joining others, but I never ended up doing it, actually. Maybe.
Would you like?
It would be a good excuse to get really shredded.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching, if you would like to see Scott do a male pageant, subscribe to this channel.
Yeah, there you go.
Or let us know. I was curious, 'cause that was one of the questions I was going to ask is, would you ever do, say, Mr. International, Mr. Universe, Mr. World?
I would. It would be, I mean, again, I one thing that's definitely fallen off in the pandemic is my workout routine. Mm-hmm. So like I would need to get myself built and like, you know, super shred to like be ready for it.
But you're not a bodybuilding competition. It's a pageant.
Yeah, but I would just there's a level that I would want it to be at. So I'm not against the idea, but then at the same time, I don't know. I'd have to figure out if the timing works and all that stuff. You know,
okay,
it's a big commitment as well, as you well know, Regine.
I know Liz and Sarah are watching. Please chime in this conversation because I want to know your thoughts on Scott competing again. It can't just be me talking to Scott this entire time. No, that'd be really interesting to see if you would ever compete again. But for the Mr. Philippines PIDC pageant, because I've known guys through IPEN where they have competed in pageants and there's a specific walk or a specific demeanor that these guys carried. Did you have the same training, I guess, for Mr. Philippines PIDC?
What did I do for that? I can't remember now timing wise. When did I start? I think I was modeling a little bit at that time, or I started modeling not long after. Mm-hmm. But somewhere along that line, I had been shown by, you know, an agent or somebody, or probably several people. At some point, I had been given some tips on like a runway walk. And so I can't remember the time, but somewhere in there. So yeah, I had some idea of what I had to do going into it. And so that allowed me to kind of be ready for that. And yeah, like I've walked in fashion shows several times. So I was able to sort of carry those skills over. So that helped.
And I mean, you won, so I guess your walk was great.
I think I have a pretty good walk. Actually, I think I do have a pretty good walk. Yeah. If I had to look at, I've seen how other guys walk, and I see my walk, and I'm like, yeah, it's there. I think it's where it needs to be.
So what is the difference between an everyday kind of walk down the street versus a pageant or runway walk for you?
For starters, the posture has to be very, very good. What I find, I mean, the thing is interesting is like I've found myself even just in everyday life, like I want to make sure I have good posture, so I try to be aware of it all the time. But when you're on stage in a pageant, like that's got to be up there, the shoulders are back, and then obviously the pageant walk, it's a bit of it's less of a walk and more of a strut. You're walking. If there's music, sometimes you're walking to the beat, but it's not a natural walk. It's a I don't know. It's a cool walk. It's a strut is the right word. It's like a glide. There's a swagger to it.
This is interesting. Well, actually, Sarah says, "Go Scott! Definitely enter another pageant."
We'll see. We'll see.
Well, I mean, if he has the swag and the strut, why not?
True. It's true.
Yeah,
I could. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see.
Be careful what you say, though. Be careful what you say, because sometimes people say things on the show and it does happen. Just putting it out there. So just be careful what you say, Scott.
All right. Okay. We'll just say maybe then. We'll leave it at a maybe.
There you go. There you go. Well, actually, we are at the halfway point. This conversation is flying by. And something different from the sit down on your show versus this sit down is we have a segment on the show, which is 5 tips from typically a beauty queen, but in this case, a beauty or what would we call you, Scott?
What do they call them? Beauty? Is it Beauty King? That doesn't sound
Or
right.
a
I've never heard that
pageant
before.
king, or a.
Beauty King.
Anyways, we have a segment on the show. 5 tips from a pageant enthusiast. How about that? So
Okay.
Scott, what would be your 5 pageant tips?
Okay. I think I can come up with 5. Let's see. But I will give you the tips that ones that I found worked for me, and also things that I've kind of observed over the years of hosting. Because I've only competed in one pageant and I won, but I've also hosted many, so you pick things up. So the number one thing, and these are in no particular order, maybe, but number one would be personality. I cannot stress enough how much your personality impacts how you do in a pageant, right? You can even if you look the part, you know what I mean? You could look like, whatever, supermodel or whatever you think you look like, right? You can look the part, but if you don't show that part of you that connects both with the judges and with the audience, then you're not going to do well, right? There's a huge part of that that's just, they need to, to put it simply, you want them to like you, you know what I mean? And they want you to feel like, the audience wants to feel like you're up there having, an amazing time and like just giving it your all, and they want to feel like you're taking them with them, you know what I mean? So really, really work on making sure your personality comes forward. Or and then that's like such a vague thing to say, but generally speaking, it's that you should look like you're enjoying yourself and that you're having fun, and that way, if you're having fun, the audience will have fun watching you, and then they'll respond, and the judges will see that as well, and they'll respond as well. So personality is number 1. Number 2 is related to personality, because as I'm saying the personality thing, maybe some people are like, oh, but what if I'm kind of shy, or what if I'm nervous, or what if I'm not that outgoing, the second part is pretend that you are confident. And this is actually a tip that works in most walks of life as well. It's, what is it? Fake it till you make it, right? That's what they say, but it's pretty accurate. Go up on stage, flash a big smile, and just go for it. And even if you are nervous, just put it outside of your mind and just go. And a way you can do that is, if you have to go up in front of a mirror before you go on and practice that smile, practice that walk, make sure you've before you get on that stage, make sure you've walked that walk 1,000,000 times. You know what I mean? So the time that you're walking on that stage is 1,000,001, right? So I guess I just moved on to another point, but pretend that you're confident. If you're not confident, pretend you're confident, because people won't be able to tell the difference. You're playing a role, right? So get up on stage, do the thing, and so fake it till you make it. That's number 2. And then 3 was, I guess, practice, rehearse. So I touched on it already, but yes, the time you walk on that stage, that should be your 1,000,001st time that you walked that walk. Practice every single part of it. And again, this applies to, a lot of the stuff that I'm saying will also apply in, like, I don't know, live theater, or if you're singing in a singing competition or any of that stuff. I remember, like, in the past, I've directed actors, and like, I remember in directing, I'll notice that the one singer, like, he's not giving it his all, and he's not doing everything full out. And I was being like, hey, can you, like, you're kind of, you're not really going all out here. And he's like, oh, yeah, I know, I'll do it on the day, you know what I mean? And the thing is, yes, you're going to do something different on the day because the audience will pick you up. But if you've never gone all out, even if in your own mind you're pushing yourself as hard as you can before the day, you're leaving you're taking a risk, because in the moment you do go all out, something could, maybe you're going to step a little differently. Maybe you might walk different. Your shoes might mess up. There could be a wardrobe malfunction because you're pushing just a little bit harder. And because you were walking all timid or not practicing or not doing it the way you're going to do it on stage, now there's going to be some kind of malfunction. Something's going to fall, something's going to break because you didn't do it beforehand, right? So practice it over and over and over again. Unless you're wearing like sweatpants and a golf shirt, because that's not gonna, there's no wardrobe malfunction there. But if you're wearing anything else, yeah, that's 3, right? Number 4, posture. I touched on it a little bit, but posture is actually really important. Not just in like a pageant, but just in general. Like most people when they walk, if they're not aware of their posture, and I don't know, I notice it with guys especially. It's easy to hunch over, right? Especially if you're sitting and we walk hunched over. It makes such a huge difference to your appearance when you just sort of stand up and put your shoulders back. And also, I think there's something psychological that happens too, that it makes you naturally feel more confident as well. I think I've heard that somewhere. But really be aware of your posture, and really work that into your walk. In fact, again, in part of your rehearsal, you want to make sure that when you're walking with your back straight and your shoulders up and everything, that you don't walk like a stiff board, right? Because you might feel tempted to do that because you're walking and you're kind of all, so, but posture is important. It will really, you'll just look better when you're standing up straight, shoulders back. You will just look better. So posture. And the fifth thing, this is 5 now, right? Yeah. 5th thing is, there's nothing you can do about it now. So what I say about that is, I say this to myself kind of in every time I'm ever doing any type of competition. And it's that when you get to the night of and you're about to go on stage, there's really nothing you can do to stop it from being good or a total disaster. Everything that's going to happen now is a result of all of your preparation leading up to it. So now that sounds kind of scary, but at the same time, it's also a good reason to not be nervous. It's a good way to let because what I found when I get nervous, it's usually right before I step on stage. And that's why I always hate, like, if they need me to like wait 10, 20, an hour or something, you can really build up your nerves just waiting. And you're tense and you're ready to go. And now you're so nervous and you're waiting. But if you tell yourself, look, you've rehearsed, you've done all this stuff, you know how to do it now, right? Nothing that happens in the next 5 minutes, 10 minutes before you walk out on that stage, nothing will have any impact. You're not going to do anything. If you don't know the choreography now, you're not going to know it in a minute. You're not going to know it in 5 minutes, right? If you don't know the steps. So on the night, you should actually just be cool as a cucumber, because there's nothing you can do about it. You've done the work now. Just go on stage and enjoy it. And at that point, you kind of let your preparation take over. So yeah, those are my 5 things for being in a pageant.
I love it. Those are 5 amazing tips, Scott. I didn't think you had it in you, but this is why you won your pageant.
There you go.
And so, Scott, if people wanted to learn more about who you are, or if you do decide to do another pageant, where can they find you online?
The best place is YouTube, youtube.com/Scott Dion Brown. And that's where you'll find Regine every Sunday mornings at 11. But I also do a lot of gaming streams Monday to Friday. It's a lot of fun. Ever since the pandemic started, again, kind of an offshoot of the sit down, we had to cancel one show because obviously we couldn't meet in person, and there was this transitional moment. So I jumped on and started playing video games, and suddenly an audience showed up. So I've been gaming Monday to Fridays for, I guess, over a year now. So youtube.com/Scott Dion Brown. You can also find me on Instagram at Scott Dion Brown, and Twitter and Facebook as well. Facebook.com, Twitter.com/Scott Dion Brown. But I'm posting less and less on both of those. YouTube is the best place because that's where I post not just live stuff, but I also have a lot of my music is on there. I put comedy sketches, vlogs, all that stuff. So find me on YouTube. I post all my updates on there, including when I announce my next pageant competition. It'll be there.
There you go. And I literally copied and pasted everything that you write in your description. So it's down below. So after the show, make sure you check him out because he will be streaming literally right after this. So make sure you subscribe to his channel. So Sarah's son, Grayson, is in the chats and says hello. Hello, Grayson.
Hi. Hello, hello, hello.
Perfect. Well, I'm kind of surprised with the tips that you gave. But while you were talking, I know I was on my phone because I was looking to find if there is a proper like term for a pageant guy, but I can't seem to find one. All I got were lists of different pageants that men can compete in. So I will send that to you later.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah. Good. Good. Thank you. Yeah. I need that. I need that link. Yeah. I don't think they're. Well, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm trying to think. In the years since I was Mr. Philippines, and now I've hosted all these pageants, I don't think I've hosted a single male pageant. I don't recall. I don't think so.
I find that a lot of them are more like international. There's not any really in Canada.
But I'm wondering, because of that, like, I don't know if there's, like you said, you think beauty queen, you know, or pageant queen or something, but they don't.
Pageant king?
Yeah, but I mean, that seems to be what it would be. It just doesn't roll off the tongue in the same way because it's not something that you would naturally hear. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Pageant king, beauty king.
Make it a thing, Scott.
Beauty king. I mean, sure. Yeah, sure. Beauty king. I don't know. Well, we can come up with something. We'll figure it out.
To those who are watching, what are your thoughts? What should we call Scott? Do we just continue to call him Mr. Philippines PIDC or
forever? Yeah, forever. Mr. Philippines PIDC forever. Yeah,
but forever. I know I've seen on the Galaxy International website that Mr. Galaxy is coming soon. I don't know if that's just a template for whenever it does happen or if it's something in the works. Would you do Mr. Galaxy? And remember, be careful what you say on the show.
Yeah, I mean, what I do know is, Galaxy is a great pageant. I mean, I've seen you compete in it, and I know the organizer. So yes, yeah, I mean, I would definitely compete in Galaxy if I was going to do a pageant. Oh. Sure. Yeah, Galaxy's good.
Because I was going to say there is like for Canada's Perfect pageant, there are male divisions. It's just not. It's kind of like Mr. Philippines PIDC, where it's not very known, but there are some out there. And again, I will send you the links.
Yeah, I guess just the demand is just smaller. I guess it's a smaller, more, I don't know, niche market, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. I guess that's what it is. So who knows, Regine? Who knows?
Who knows? Well, another question from Instagram is, what have you learned about yourself from competing in your pageant?
What did I learn about myself?
You got to go way back.
Yeah, I mean, the question and answer portion, when I did that, that was really the first time I'd ever done anything really like that. You know, I mean, like, what had I done to that point? I mean, I had done, like, you know, drama, like improv, a lot of that. I was on the improv team in high school and that stuff. So I'm sure that helped, but still, I mean, the idea that, you know, they're going to give you a question and you just gotta, you know, spit back an answer in front of an audience in real time. I'd never done anything like that before, so, and it went pretty well. I mean, I guess, I don't know what I learned. I learned what that feels like. It was I don't know, I learned a lot of things. I'm not sure what I learned specifically about myself. I guess that pageants are something that I enjoy doing.
Well, there you go. There you go. Grayson says Gamer King.
Gamer King. Yeah, that's a common term. That's the common term, yeah.
For you.
Everyone who wins a pageant is a Gamer King. That's right.
Well, there you go. Well, maybe one day Grayson will do his own pageant and will become his own Gamer King.
There you go, Grayson. Actually, I was going to pull out my sash and I was gonna bring it on to the show, but it looked really rough. I almost felt like I didn't want it to be seen on camera. Like a lot of the letters have fallen off, and there's like little spots and stains on it. I don't know. I mean, I guess it got a lot of wear.
Exactly. I was gonna say it got some love. It's been around. I mean, you've been Mr. Philippines for who knows how many years. I mean, I met you in 2013 and you were already Mr. Philippines then. So I can only actually I competed in Miss Philippines PIDC in 2010. So Scott, it's been a minute since you did Mr. Philippines.
And the thing is the I mean, the sashes that I've seen that are where it's like the letters are all sewn in and everything, those are nice. This one, I will say, I mean, it was basically the letters are they're stickers. They're just stickers on, I guess, I'm not even sure what is it made of?
Vinyl?
Maybe a vinyl. Yeah, it's some kind of, it almost feels like a ribbon almost. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, so the sash itself is a ribbon, but they probably put like vinyl or something.
Yeah, vinyl stickers on it, right? And so, like I said, you could just peel it, peel it right off. So I didn't peel anything, but I think just in it being folded and just sitting in a drawer for over a decade, it's I think some of those letters have just gone away. So
I mean, I have a Cricut. I've never used it. Do you want me to use my Cricut for the first time on your sash?
Cricut? What's a Cricut?
It's like one of those things that like cut different fabrics. I can't speak, and then you can like make different things. Like how Cindy makes T-shirts and all. Cindy can make you a sash. I think we were talking about that before.
Yeah, I need a sash restoration, or we can make a special. One thing that always bugged me as well is like I believe they gave me a trophy, but I think at some point they said that my name was going to be added or something, but they never did. So I got this trophy. The
pageant never happened again. Calm down.
I guess that's true. That's true. Anyway, I've got the sash. In fact, I've got both sashes. So
there you go.
Good stuff.
Well, I mean, Sarah, who's watching, she also does her own creative things. Maybe one day you'll get a sash that says Gamer King on it.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll wear
Sorry,
that.
Sarah.
I'll wear it proudly. I'll wear it proudly as I'm gaming.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So let's talk gaming because, I don't know how we're going to get into gaming, but let's talk about gaming. I mean, we talk about it every weekend. I'm usually quiet during the segments, but since Grayson's here and some of your viewers are here, are you enjoying the gaming world?
I am. The games we're playing right now. So one thing that I really didn't expect to love so much is Minecraft. And like Minecraft, I don't know how familiar you are with Minecraft, but it's basically a game where the majority of the game you're building things. So you can just go, you make a little tool, and then you go like mine stone or wood or whatever, and then you can basically build whatever you want. And then the world is like, there are monsters at nighttime, for example. Monsters come out, and you have to like get food to eat and like all that stuff. But generally speaking, you can kind of play the game however you want. So you're just building. And I've been finding myself now, anytime I have free time, it's even if I'm not streaming, I'm usually playing Minecraft. And last night I had a dream about Minecraft. I had a dream that I was in Minecraft building.
Oh wow.
And so yeah, it's a lot of fun. And then what's cool is, so the other game I've been playing, Brawlhalla, just announced they're doing a crossover with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You know the Ninja Turtles, right, Regine? Do you know the Ninja Turtles?
Of course.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I was, a huge Ninja Turtles fan. They're on my mug, and so now you can now buy like individual like Ninja Turtle characters and play them in Brawlhalla. So
wow,
I'm very excited about it. And then Among Us, they've just pushed out an update that the lobbies have gone from 10 players to 15 player lobbies, so the games are even bigger.
Wow.
So I'm going to try that for the first time on Thursday. So right now at this particular time, there's a lot of cool new things coming out in the games we're playing, and then I think Minecraft might be becoming my just favorite game ever. It's so like right now I've been working on building a whole city, and right now I'm building a luxury hotel. I'm just building a hotel. I want to build a lobby. I built the lobby. I put an aquarium in the lobby,
Are
and I'm
you
gonna put
gonna
a
build a
casino.
pageant stage one day?
Hey, you know what? Yes, I feel like I should. We got to get a nice Minecraft. That's the thing. You can do anything in Minecraft.
Yeah.
You can build everything. So yes, the gaming is very fun, and it's
Mhm.
funny how like it was. I've always growing up, I always loved playing video games, but then I kind of fell out of it because you get busy with stuff, and it was really the pandemic that kind of brought me back to it, and I forgot how much I really like playing games. So it's been, you know, it's been nice. It's been nice finding that again, and then also finding a new audience online, which I never would have anticipated. But it's cool. It's really cool.
Well, Grayson in all caps says, "I love Minecraft."
There you go. Minecraft is amazing.
Well,
I stream every Tuesday.
Oh, sorry.
Minecraft.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
yeah,
my
go.
brothers, they used to play Minecraft as they were kids, and so I know what Minecraft is. But it's interesting because you and one of my other brothers, you're both very artistic. Like, you're both very, he is in digital art for school, and you recently got into digital art. So I'm not surprised that Minecraft is something that you do on your free time now.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I guess if you're somebody who likes to create things, or just build things, it's perfect for that. Like if you have a vision for anything, like you want to make a sculpture, a building, a castle, or anything. It's just a fun. Anyway, there's just something so nice about it, and then the music is so peaceful as well. It's the kind of thing you can just almost zen. Like you can just sort of just fall into just, I'm just building a house right now.
And that's how they get you.
Roof. Yeah. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
That's awesome. And well, I guess now that you're finally done your short film, you have all the free time in the world to be playing Minecraft.
Yes, actually, the film. Yeah, I mean, I know. I finally finished it. What's funny is I finished it, submitted it to festivals, and then I've been continuing to work on it and update the video file pretty much every day. So I actually just got it down. It's now at 15 minutes and 30 seconds. So
Didn't you want it to be 15 seconds before? I mean, 15 minutes
15
before. Oh, 15
Ideally,
seconds.
but so I got it to about 15. No, where was I at? I was around 15:30, and then after you add the ending credits and everything, then it was a little bit longer. I don't know. I think the longest it was like 16:30, and now I've got it on to 15:30. And I don't know if I need to do more, but it's like working on a sculpture, So you're kind of can this go? You chip this off, you chip that off, but it does feel very nice to now have it finished, and I've submitted it to a bunch of ones, and now I'm just waiting for festival deadlines to come up and send it off. So
Awesome.
It's exciting. I'll be posting a lot more updates about that as we ramp up the festival run and stuff. But
Well, that's
yes.
exciting. You finally finished it.
I know. Only took 2 years, over 2 years.
Longer because it's been going on since before the show started. Well, your show started. Yeah.
Yeah. When did we shoot it? We shot it in October of. It might be 2018. Maybe it's October of 2018. Does that sound right?
So a month before the sit down was born?
Yeah, that might be it. That might be right. Because I remember we shot in October because it was helpful because it's like a zombie-based horror movie, and it was helpful because at Halloween time you've got all these like, you can get a lot of gory stuff and fake blood and all that stuff really easily. So that was nice. But yeah, it just took a long time. Anyway, it feels nice. It definitely feels nice.
It's because you've been busy. But so Satan is on here from your stream and says, "Hi, Scott." And earlier he said in all caps, "I know him. He's a funny guy."
What's up, Satan? Welcome. Yeah, Satan he's a regular on my channel. He was in last night actually, hanging out in the Minecraft stream. Hello, Satan.
Well, there you go. Sarah says it's a creative outlet. So going back to Minecraft, it is a very I've never played it, but it's interesting to see people build and tear down. And it's like your film. Like you said, you take things, you put things in, you take it out, you try to figure out what you want to do with it, and then there you go.
I mean, it's just cool like that. It's a platform that you can, if you get an idea, you can just do it, right? So like I started it and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna make a house because I need to survive. And then once you've gone past that part, because you basically at nighttime you go and hide in a place where bad guys get you. But once you have that basic out of the way, now you're free. You can be okay. Well, let's build a giant house. Oh, maybe let's build this on a lake. And then I stumbled upon a village, and I was like, what if we turn this village into a city? So then I made it into a city. Then I was like, maybe the city needs a tower, and now it needs a hotel, and now it needs a square, and like I'm just, it's just so nice. You build it and then you can walk around and look at it. There's just something nice about it. It's very relaxing and also satisfying when you build something cool.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You just need to build yourself a pageant stage and you're good to go.
And we're good. Exactly.
Awesome. Well, before we wrap things up, since this is the Pageant Sit Down and you've been in pageantry, whether you've been competing or emceeing, you've been around it for quite some time. The reason for the Pageant Sit Down was to educate people on what pageants really are and, you know, to look at it in a different point of view. So as a male who has been a part of the pageant industry for a while, what would you like to tell all those people who have misconceptions on pageantry?
I would say it's probably not what you think. And I mean, it's fun. In fact, you know what, now thinking back, somebody asked, you know, what's different. There was a question earlier, right, that what I learned about, or a misconception about male pageants. I've got to probably think that one of them is probably like, you know, you're not a manly guy if you compete in a pageant. I've got to think that there's probably some kind of misconception like that. I mean, it's fun. It's a fun time. And actually, I think, you know, and this would apply to both men and women, I think, who want to compete. But I think there's something, especially if you're somebody who's never gotten on a stage in any type of performance type setting, you know, never really just gone out there and gotten in front of a crowd and felt all of the eyes on you and expected to like perform in some way. I think everybody should do that, you know, at least once. I think it's worth it to work on for confidence and for just feeling like you achieved something. I think it's a good thing to do. You know, I mean, especially if you're somebody who considers yourself shy, I think it's worth it to try. And what I find is, especially with pageants, again, like I said, it's especially the community ones that I've been involved with. They're not these ultra competitive things that you know, people will yell at you and tear you down if you make a mistake or something. It's actually a pretty supportive environment, and I think it's just I think it's worth doing. I think if you're looking for some way of putting yourself out there and just doing something, a pageant is a good thing to do. I think they're quite enjoyable, actually.
So there you go. There you have it. A perspective from a male, because this is something that we were talking about, Elizabeth and I, the last time she was on here, was we should try and see what guys think of pageants. And so I figured you'd be the perfect person to talk to because you've been through so many backstage and watching. Actually, have you watched a pageant besides Canada Galaxy?
Like just watched it?
Yeah, because normally you're on stage.
Yeah, I've seen a couple. I've judged a few. So you're not watching it quite the same way. Like if you're judging it, you're working as well. But just passively watching it as an audience member. I remember there was an online one that we watched. Angel Batal. She was in one that that I tuned in and watched. Yeah, I think I've probably seen a few. And then even ones like some that I've hosted, but depending on the type of pageant, sometimes hosting, you're doing stuff all night, and other times you're hosting, you walk up to say a few words, then you're off the stage the rest of the time. So even ones that I've hosted, I've had the opportunity to watch sometimes because there's not that much for me to do. So yeah, I've seen a few different ones. Yeah. You know, it's interesting to see how different ones are run. I now have a lot of respect for the ones that can like be on time or like keep things moving, because it's very, very easy for an event like that to just drag on.
Well, I mean, when you and I MC together at a pageant, we do make sure that it does end on time.
Yeah.
But I think that's literally the only time I've seen something, or unless it's like broadcasted on television.
Yeah, well, I feel like that's one of the one things that I think the big job that the MC has. It's really just keeping the pace. You know what I mean? So, yeah. When you and I do it, because we both know what's going on, you know, we've got some. We know how it's supposed to look, and yeah, it's helpful. Makes it a lot better.
Well, if
I've had to co-host. Oh, sorry, I was gonna say I've had to co-host with some people that probably shouldn't be hosting things. So yes, for sure.
Well, that's a great way to segue through what I was going to say. If you're a pageant director and you're looking for MCs, Scott and I are available.
Yeah, exactly.
Selfless
You
plug.
can't don't just ask anybody to do it, because yeah, it's just because the person won in a previous year doesn't necessarily mean they're the ideal host of the following one. You know what I mean? Sometimes, but it's a very different thing to actually keep a show rolling. You know, otherwise it's easy to get swept away. So.
Scott
Yeah.
is spilling the tea, but we are going to let Scott go because he has to stream tonight. So Scott, one last time, where can people find you online?
YouTube.com/Scott Dion Brown, and that's the best one. Just find me on YouTube.
Perfect. And to all of those who tuned in today, thank you so much for joining us. Scott, thanks for joining us and for switching your schedule around for tonight's episode. If you all enjoyed today's show, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you enjoy all things pageantry, make sure to follow and subscribe to this channel as we go live every Monday and Wednesday. Again, Scott, thank you for joining us today. I will see you on Sunday when we both go live once again on your YouTube channel for The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown.
That's right. Yes, Regine, thanks so much for having me. And it's been really great watching this show grow. And it's been really, you're doing a great job. And
Thanks.
it's the sky's the limit, I think. So keep rolling. Keep rolling.
The galaxy is the limit.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Galaxy's
Awesome.
the limit, of course.
Well, we'll see you all on Sunday, and everyone else, I'll see you next Monday. Have a good evening, everyone. And make sure you go from this channel to Scott's channel. Link is in the description. We'll see you at his channel. Bye.
Bye-bye.